Hello and welcome to Sherlock's tutorials. Today we'll be dealing with equations with fractions. So you'll see there at the top right corner, I've already written some of the pointers to look at or to follow when you're solving these equations. The first thing is to ensure that all your denominators are factorized fully. The second one is to ensure that you identify your LCD. In simplest term, it's just the product of your denominators without repetition. You'll see this when I solve. The third one is to state your restrictions such that no denominator will be zero. So it's the values of X or Y or whatever unknown that will basically make your denominator to be zero and your equation will be undefined. And last but not least is to multiply it throughout with your LCD and start solving for X to turn it into a linear form. So in this particular question, you can see any term that is alone has a denominator of 1. The denominators are already fully factorized. X minus 1 is fully factorized and 1. So the LCD, therefore, is just the product of 1 times x minus 1, which will just be x minus 1. And now I can go to my restrictions. My restrictions are that x cannot be equals to 1, because if x is equals to 1, then x minus 1 will be 0, and if x minus 1 is 0, 2 over 0 will be undefined, so we do not want this particular portion here will be undefined. So that's how you'll state your restrictions. Then the next step is to just multiply everything throughout with your denominator. X times x minus 1 equals to 2, not equals to plus 2, open bracket, x minus 1 all over x minus 1 equals to 4, open bracket, x minus 1. So I've multiplied everything with this particular denominator. Now you'll realize x minus 1 goes into x minus 1 once, it cancels out. So you say, then this will be x squared. You distribute this x into the bracket, you'll get x squared minus x plus 2 equals to the 4 distributed will be basically give you 4x minus 4. You can then group your like terms, x squared minus x minus 4x plus 2 plus 4 equals to 0. This will then be x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. And the factors of that, if you factorize, you want the factors of 6, that when you add them together give you negative 5, that is negative 3, and negative 2 equals to 0. Then when you continue to solve that, you realize that using your zero product principle, x can either be 3 or x can then be 2. Now, both of these answers are valid because none of them are restricted by the restriction that we stated. All right, this was a simple one. Let's look at something that is a little bit challenging for us as well. So step number 1 again, you have to ensure denominators are factorized. So we realize this one is not fully factorized. Therefore, we want to factorize it. Okay, so 2x minus 5 all over x plus 3 minus, I'm going to write this the way it is for now, 1 over 4 minus x equals to 7 all over. If you factorize that, it becomes x minus 4 and x plus 3. Now you realize something before you actually find a denominator. You realize this denominator looks very similar to that. It's just that the arrangement is different. So if you remember this particular tip that your teacher taught you, if you factor out a negative 1, you'll get b minus a. But now remember, negative 1 is redundant, so it's just the same as just factoring a negative. Okay, so if you do that, you can rewrite 2x minus 5 all over x plus 3. Now, this negative and the negative that we are factoring out when we do this, the 4 minus x, when you factor a negative, it will give us x minus 4. So that particular negative and this negative here will give us a positive. So 1 over x minus 4 equals to 7 all over x minus 4, x plus 3. Now you can simply identify your LCD. Your LCD in this particular instance is just the product of all your denominators without repetition. So I do not repeat a denominator that appears more than once. So x minus 4 is appearing once there in my LCD, and so does x plus 3. The next step is to write your restrictions. So your restrictions should be x cannot be positive 4, because if that's the case, then this particular thing will be 0, and x cannot be a negative 3, because if that's the case, then this here would be 0. So that's a problem, or any of these would be 0, and that's a problem as well, because it will give us an undefined answer. So what do? We multiply throughout with our LCD. But if you're multiplying something that is a binomial, like this numerator, it has 2 terms, you put it in brackets before you multiply it with the LCD. Okay, and then this is to be divided by x plus 3, right? Plus 1 times of x minus 4, x plus 3, all over x minus 4. This should be equals to 7, open bracket, x minus 4, x plus 3, all over x minus 4, x plus 3. You'll realize that as soon as this becomes second to nature to you, this particular step you can actually skip. So this cancels that one out, that cancels that one out, and then this whole thing B cancels that whole thing B. Basically goes into it once. Now you are left with this, of which you can then FOIL into. So you'll get 2x squared, or distribute, minus 8x minus 5x plus 20 for this particular one. And this one will be plus just x plus 3 because it's multiplied by 1. And then this should be equals to 7. Now, when you group your like terms, so 2x squared, let me start by grouping like terms, even though I know some of you can go straight to the answer without grouping the like terms. But it's easier to show everyone what actually happened. Sorry, minus 7 equals to 0. Now, simplify like terms, 2x squared. This will be negative 13 plus x is negative 12, so negative 12x. And then this here, 23 minus 7 will basically give you plus a 16. Okay, which is equals to 0. You realize that all of these are factorizable, so we can divide everything else by the a value of 2. So it will be simplified to x squared minus 6x plus 8 is equals to 0. Now, when you factorize this, you'll realize you get x minus 4 and x plus 2, or minus 2, sorry about that. X minus 4, x minus 2 equals to 0. You'll then realize that the solutions were supposed to be x equals to 4 or x equals to 2. But if you remember, we are restricted that x cannot be 4, so therefore we do not accept 4 but accept 2. 2 is not part of our restrictions, so this actually only has one solution, instead of 2 solutions. Right. So do look into this. More videos are coming. Remember, Sherlock Tutorials, your trusted tutor. Thank you.